The two Prime Ministers resolved any outstanding issues over dinner at number 10 last night.
Yes, touch and go. Talk about a last-minute deal, Kieran. Scott Morrison very keen to announce this before he leaves Britain in a few hours' time, and indeed he will be announcing this with Boris Johnson in about 2.5 hours' time. So we got the news overnight that the deal has been sealed. We know that Dan Tehan, the Trade Minister, and the Trade Secretary in the UK, Liz Truss, have worked for weeks on this. And Scott Morrison yesterday was painting the picture of what it could mean at a UK Chamber of Commerce breakfast. He said that it was a return to the 1970s trade between the two countries before Britain joined the common market.
We remember in Australia very vividly the impact of the UK going into the common market back in the early 70s. That had a devastating blow on Australian producers. The Brexit that has occurred is an opportunity for us to pick up where we left off all those many years ago and to once again realise the scale of the trading relationship that we once had. And who better to do it than with Australia at this time?
Scott Morrison also mentioned a potential climate deal with the UK on technologies. He's not giving Boris Johnson what he wants in terms of a mid-term target or a new mid-term target or a net zero emissions by 2050 target just yet anyway. But he was saying that a deal could be hatched with the UK in the same way it's been technology, not taxes, in terms of deals for the PM with Germany, Singapore and Japan.
We want to find those solutions, and we want to lead in finding those solutions, and we want to deliver them with our partners around the world. We've announced agreements with Germany, with Japan, with Singapore. We're very close to announcing one here in the United Kingdom. These partnerships are about finding the solution to live in a net zero carbon neutral economy around the world. It's certainly coming.
So this 2.5-hour dinner last night, sealing at least an in principle agreement on the FTA. It came shortly after Boris Johnson announced that restrictions would be going for another 4 weeks until more people are vaccinated because of the Indian variants here. And there were lockdown protesters out the front, which both Prime Ministers would have heard, but they must have got on well, or at least been negotiating hard, because they were originally slated for an hour and a half and it ended up 2.5 hours, Kieran. And here was Boris Johnson with that lockdown announcement.
We must be clear that we cannot simply eliminate COVID. We must learn to live with it. And with every day that goes by, we're better protected by the vaccines and we're better able to live with the disease. Vaccination greatly reduces transmission, and 2 doses provide a very high degree of protection against serious illness and death. But there are still millions of younger adults who have not been vaccinated, and sadly, a proportion of the elderly and vulnerable may still succumb even if they have had 2 jabs.
So, Andrew, give us a sense of what we can expect over the next couple of hours. Morning in the UK, there will be a formal announcement of the details of what they've agreed to on the trade front, and important for the UK as this is the first substantive FTA done post-Brexit, Andrew.
Yes, with the COVID rules, there will only be a limited number of journalists from either side in there, but there'll be the announcement. I guess there'll be more details. Perhaps backpackers don't have to pick the fruit anymore. Really interested in the details around beef tariffs in particular. Is there any sort of restriction on Australian products? So we'll hear all that. And then almost immediately, Scott Morrison travels to Windsor Castle for a private audience with the Queen. And then this evening, he'll have a bilateral meeting with President Emmanuel Macron in Paris. So quite a busy day, starting with this good news for both Prime Ministers.